To the top left-hand side, our blue Protoss player, we've got sOs from Janair Greenwings. Up against the red Zerg player to the bottom right-hand side, soO. Now, I casted soO versus sOs not so long ago as well in the Masters Coliseum quarterfinals? Semi-finals, I think it was actually. And that was a bit of a one-sided series. soO looked absolutely fantastic, and actually since then, soO's EVP has looked particularly scary. He's looked very good, he's been able to string together a good set of results, and so I've really been excited to see more of soO's EVP going into some of these other matches, so that's pretty sick. Of course, sOs though, he's one of the trickier Protoss players to play against. You don't know, what he's going to do. He could open up with a cannon rush one game, and the next game he'll be going Nexus first gateway, and then another Nexus, because while it doesn't sound like it makes sense, it probably makes sense in sOs's head, because he does do these crazy things, and he makes these crazy things work, which is just what makes him such a terrifying player to play against. In PvZ, I mean, it's the matchup of two base all-ins of super aggressive attacks from Protoss players, so it really is the matchup where someone like sOs really does excel a lot of the time. So sOs, it's always cool to watch him play some PvZ and to see what compositions he comes up with, see what openers he goes with as well, because again, I complain day in and day out about how I think ZVP early game is super stale and predictable and very expected and stuff like that, and well, I think it is, but then you get someone like sOs and it's probably going to be anything but that sort of situation of stale and predictable, and we kind of know everything that's happening. So yeah, definitely one of the more interesting Protoss players to watch out for, I think, is we have a little bit of a fight here. Drones fighting to get back onto that mineral line. Going to see a few Zerglings popping out, and they are going to come around, and they're actually going to see a few of those latching on to that little probe, which is going off on a wander out across through the center of the map. So those four Zerglings chasing down sOs's probe. As we see, a Stalker is on the way out of this gateway. It was a sentry pretty early on, and that alone is already a sentry first out of the gateway. I mean, 90% of the time, maybe a little bit less, you will see an Adept first, because the Adept it's going to take map control. It's going to replace the probe across the map to keep up to date and check, okay, is there a third hatchery? Are you making Zerglings? sOs is like, cool, I'm going to go sentry 2 more gates already. It almost feels like he wants to go up to a third base without any sort of tech structure here. And he pulls this probe forward, he's going to add on another gateway, so it's actually just going to be a 4 gateway opener. Maybe even more, because he'll probably still want to try and finish this wall. He has another pylon. This is just crazy. The hallucination there was what allowed him to kill this high-round overlord. And of course, soO sees, well, man, you've got a sentry, and that mustn't have just been made as the second unit. It was the first unit out. Otherwise, how do you already have the energy for hallucination? There's a robo facility coming up. We are going to have 4 gateways here. So 4 gates. I mean, a robo for a prism maybe, and we just see like a big gateway attack very early in the game. And you do see that hallucination getting taken down. Well, yeah, the robo facility coming in, and really interested to see what happens here, as we do have soO just, I mean, fairly aware of the fact it's a bit different. But I mean, look at this wall. What even is this wall? Like, if this was a Baneling bus, like, what on earth is this? sOs is just, like, even his wall off doesn't really make sense, and that's just how you know he's, like, super crazy. In extra center, he's going to have a ton of force fields to work with if he pushes across the map. As we see, one Zerglin already shot down. Robo facility finishing. What's it going to be? Warp Prism? No, an Immortal. I guess an Immortal makes sense as well, right? Chrono Boost out, an Immortal. And it was either going to be the Prism for, like, the attack right now with just gate units. The Immortal makes a bit more sense overall, because an Immortal all-in is a bit more powerful and a bit more, oh, that works sort of setup than than the attack of purely gateway units. Well, I say that, and yet here we are with 5 sentries and 3 Stalkers currently fighting on the third base of soO. Queens are pulling in to try and fight against this. Guardian Shield doing a lot to protect, though. The Guardian Shield's actually really good so far. The Force Shield's pretty good as well. That's going to be a recall out, although that poor one single sentry left behind. He will face the wrath of those Zerglings. And poor sentry shouldn't have been lost there, but a bit of a mistake. So 3 more gateways. This turns into a 7-gate Immortal Sentry all-in. However, soO is making 24 more lings. He sees the sentries, making 24 more lings, making a few Ravagers. sOs is going to take a third Nexus, but you cannot possibly convince me that this is the intention of building more probes or anything like that, because there is absolutely no way on earth he's going to build probes with this setup that he has right now. He has no longevity in this army. As we see, well, here we go with soO. Eventually is making a lot of units, and here they are, pushing across the map. Lings get good surround initially. A lot of units down on the low ground. Force fields getting broken through by the Ravagers, and without the Warp Prism out yet, the first Immortal goes down and able to be kind of kited around in the Prism like we would usually see. However, all of the Zerglings down, and now we're going to be seeing those Ravagers being chased as well. That Force Field being killed by a Corrosive Bile kind of helped sOs out. Allowed sOs to just sort of be like, okay, cool, I can move my units forward more easily and chase you down a bit more easily. As we see the enemy continuing to gather up together. Twilight Council starts in the main base, and we do see the few Ravagers of soO backing away down to the bottom right. Zerglings of soO going ahead on over to the far left-hand side, and the Warp Prism has got an Immortal inside of it, which is going to head into the main base in the next few moments. So, an Immortal heading into the main. The Queen's here to fight. Ling's already coming in with a surround on this Nexus, so Nexus taking quite a bit of damage. Oh, those Force Fields probably could have done it in 2, but 3 gets the job done as well. Then he has to use 2 more once again, though. I mean, soO still has not built any extra workers, so as this Immortal comes across the map and is looking for Queen kills, there is a Ling Roach Ravager attack once again across the map, and the Immortal's out of position, although there is a new Immortal up. Corrosive Bile's again there to break the Roaches and Ravagers through the initial Force Fields. Corrosive Bile's now coming down the army, but a little bit too far forwards. Next couple of bars, forces split away, and the Zealots pull back in that as well. But again, as soon as these Ravagers are the kind of units in the front, it becomes very dangerous because they don't have any sort of buffer to them. As, oh no, soO runs Zerglings into this army. And those sentries, well, actually, a couple of sentries do go down. I think sOs still paying attention to his Immortal on the other side of the map. But those Zerglings kind of ran in without the support of the Ravagers, and that's definitely what should have happened there. The Ravagers should have been able to get some damage along with the Zerglings. So, yeah, okay, the Zerglings still did okay-ish, picking off a sentry or 2, but that's not even that great considering how many Zerglings were lost. You can see the resources lost. It's 3,800 to 52,700, so a big difference in what's been lost here. And of course, soO has barely been on equal workers with his opponent because he did cut heavily to keep on making this Roach Ravager Zergling force. Immortals now with the Prism, just going to be, sorry, the single Immortal in the Prism still is coming through, just getting a couple of shots off on Roaches. Ling's trying to counter-attack again, but with so many gateways, the Zealots that can just warp in to deflect these run-bys are absolutely just more than enough. There is no way these Lings are going to get much done, as long as the warp-in isn't on cooldown or so, but even then, it's only a little bit of time until you get a warp-in there, and well, I just feel like soO is still in a lot of trouble. 51 drones to 52 probes, and we know the Protoss players shouldn't generally be ahead on workers in a PvZ. Usually that means pretty bad things for the Zerg. I mean, I know it's only a 1 worker lead, but it should be the Zerg ahead. Like, if 52 probes out for the Protoss, like 55 to 60-ish drones for the Zerg would make a lot of sense. So we're talking about a bit of a deficit from where soO should be, and he's just spamming Ling, Roach, and Ravager, and that is not a great composition against what is now a ton of Zealots, Immortals, and Archons. The Zealots have charge. I mean, there's just... these Roaches are just going to suffer big time here. Let's see what happens. First Force Fields lock a bunch of Roaches in. Corrosive Biles come down to break through those Force Fields. Finally, some Roaches can pull back. Zealots will continue onwards as the Archons and Immortals are going to do absolute work here. Well, soO is winning out against the Zealots on the top side, so now we're going to be seeing him able to engage into the Immortals directly. Prism backs away so he can get in a couple of warp-ins. However, Archon count is dropping down. The Immortal number's not so great anymore. There's a few of those Zealots coming up, but there's only 1 Archon and 2 Immortals. Couple sentries left as well. So while sOs has done a lot, soO has still kind of held this off. sOs has a ton of money to spend. 1,500 minerals and 500/600 gas. It's a ton of money that needs to be spent here as we see those Immortals continue to fire away. A couple more drones going down. I mean, the micro here from sOs is good to keep these Immortals alive as extra Zealots come out. I mean, as long as you have like a Zealot buffer and Immortals against Roaches, I believe you have more than just a dream. I believe you have a real opportunity as, I mean, the Zealots, though, not getting into the best of positions. Those Immortals are low. Barrier pops on the front one, able to keep it alive a bit longer. This barrier on the other one not available, though. And now an Immortal goes down. I mean, more drones haven't been pulled in, and soO is down on 26 workers, so don't get me wrong. sOO, he cleans up, but he does not put himself in a winning position, because sOs just has to go home, build up a little bit, open a few more High Templar Archons, come across the map, opens themselves with them, bring the Immortals that have been coming through as well, and boom, oh my god, now loses the Prism, but even that wouldn't have been a huge deal here. Yes, it would have helped sOO, but a half work account Zerg against the Protoss is never meant to win a game like this, and so again, sOs will probably just have too much in the next minute or so, and should be able to look for an attack that will overrun the Zerg player. Prism is still just hunting around from sOs as well, looking to see if he can deal any extra additional damage just yet. Obviously, the sooner you deal some extra, the more damage you deal, the easier your push is going to be. Not that I think he's going to have very much trouble with this upcoming push. Wall drops down, and going to be seeing the Roaches and the Ravagers coming in. Queen lifts up the Immortal right away, and again the Prism coming over towards the center. Hallucinated Phoenix here as well from sOs, just double checking what there is, and he'll see, okay, well, your drone count is kind of on the way back up, but your army is like 10 Roaches and 3 Ravagers, if that. It's not a lot. And again, sOs, he's probably happy knowing that he's also been building up his probe count a little bit. Let's contaminate by sOO on the Robo Facility here. But that is Robo Facility number 2, so it's not even like that Robo Facility is going to be like stopping all Immortal production. It just slows things down a little bit, and even then I don't think you need those Immortals. I'm pretty sure you could just go right now as sOs and run over what is left of sOO, because it really isn't that much. Again, previous fight puts sOs in a great position. And I mean, if he wanted me to theorize about what sOO could do to get back in the game, well, he'd need a lot. He'd need like 2 run-bys where he's at least going to kill this 4th base and like 20 workers probably. And even then, I mean, how do you even deal with the army? You probably just don't, and, well, sOO says so as well. He doesn't even fight it. As sOs comes across the map, sOO realizes how much is there, and so sOs picks up game 1. That's the issue. That is the issue. As soon as if I frame them, they don't fit on the wall the way I have them anymore. Which might be okay, we might just have to do a different setup. Anyways, it's the way the world works. We'll get through. We'll survive. Even if the posters are a little bit a little bit reflective of light. I know you guys are really stressed out probably about this, but we'll make it. We'll be okay. I got some space to the right. Maybe they would all fit. No, they wouldn't, because that space to the right is because I'm going to get shelves up. Where that the StarCraft wall hang is right now, I'm going to get shelves for my StarCraft and Blizzard collectibles. So it's gonna look really cool. Actually, shelves are next to my list. I just put the StarCraft wall hang there because otherwise it looked really empty still. Anyways, let's introduce some players. Top right hand side, our blue Protoss player is sOs, and to the bottom left, our red Zerg is sOO in game 2 of this best of 3. Now, this probe has a little bit of a scout around, has a little bit of a look to see what's going on. Let me see those drones just mining away minerals, some gas, and yeah, just mining at the moment. Nothing too crazy. Cybercore finishing, and well, again, sOs completely blew my mind with the build in game 1, and he is again going to open with a sentry first. So I wonder if it's just because sOO went for such an aggressive build in game 1, sOs wasn't able to kind of get away with the everything he wanted to do in that game. And so this time he's like, okay, well, maybe I'll still be able to use that build here on Cerulean full. The thing is, though, obviously sOO will still have an idea of what this build was meant to be last time before he attacked. And so if he sees something similar, he might be able to start putting those little bits and pieces together and being like, well, actually it just looks like you're going to start, Immortal Sentry all in me. And then you're like, oh, he's figured it out. And then, it's not so great for you because he has the right amount of drones, he makes units, and he doesn't die. So, interesting few moments here to see what happens as the sentry just sitting down on the natural expansion. Twilight Council over halfway done. Robotics facility starting up in the main base as well. And those first couple of units are going to start wandering across. Only just a little bit forwards just to get a hallucination off. So yeah, the Twilight and the Robo tells us a bit about what this is going to be. It is just going to be an Archon drop most likely. So Twilight finishing up. Now Twilight before a Stargate usually means a Dark Shrine, Dark Templar Archon drop. As the Overlord Scout's in here, the Stalker comes in position, and well, I mean, so far so good. This overall is going to see the Robo, is going to see the Twilight Council as well, but will not see the Dark Shrine. So that part is something that sOo is just going to have to sort of guess a little bit, sort of figure out for himself, or just kind of take caution for anyways, because he doesn't know, and it is obviously then a possibility. So I think as soon as you see a Twilight and a Robo, you just have to be prepared for, you know, Archons, obviously, but also the potential of it being DT Archons, especially pre-Stargate, as Prism number 1 is on the way up, and we're probably going to see 2 Prisms here. A lot of the time lately when we've seen Dark Templar Archon drops, we see 2 Prisms, 8 DTs into 4 Archons, and those 2 Prisms hitting in different locations, and eventually they might join up together for some larger kind of harassment. Just sort of depends on how the game goes, really. Rotron dropping in on the natural expansion. These couple of extractors are going to finish now as well. Coming up to completion very shortly too. The Zerglings continue to come out. And we are going to be seeing the Dark Shrine is about to complete. Spore Crawler about halfway done from sOo. There's 4 Dark Templar going to be warping in underneath this Warp Prism. They're going to move in towards the 3rd base right away here. So 4 DTs in towards this 3rd hatchery, and well, I mean, the Spore Crawler's there, the Overseer's on the way, so unlikely you're going to get much done. And the Lings just kind of backing away because they don't really want to take any damage to those DTs, because of course, as soon as you get the DTs low, Prism's just going to lift them up and evacuate them. So there's no real point in fighting, but you need the units there, otherwise they are just going to try and like kill everything anyways, right? So there's the threat of the Zerglings which keeps them away a little bit, and because of that, it's kind of not much done here by the first DTs, which then will morph into Archons. Does it behind the mineral line, so it's nice and safe, less surface area in case the Zerglings find them. By the way, Immortal on the way up, Charge, and a couple of sentries warped in, so actually, going on from here, looks as though sOo is going to be getting himself into a position where, it looks as though sOo is going to be getting himself into a position where he's up against an all-in. Once more, sOs super aggressive here, going to have a couple of Immortals. Well, he has the Prism extra gates in charge. I mean, here we go. Obviously, we'll have those Archons from the DTs. He's going to drop the 3rd Nexus. If this is a real 3rd Nexus, I will eat my hat. If it isn't a if it is a real 3rd Nexus, I guess I actually have a hat, so I can't eat it. But still, the point stands. It's at least going to be a push across the map. Surely, there's 2 Archons coming towards the main. I mean, if there's many sentries, the 2 Immortals already, there's no Forge for +1. I don't believe it if it isn't. As we see the 2 Archons trying to hop into the main, but the Roach is well positioned, and sOo continues to take absolutely no damage at all from this initial Archon drop. I mean, a few units lost, but considering it's an Archon drop, really not that many. A few Zerglings run in here, and the army is already pushing across, so sOo gets some more information. Well, now the 3rd Nexus probably will complete, and he probably will build probes behind this if he feels he can't win with this push. And this push is coming though, so again, it's definitely this commitment to the attack for the moment. As you do see a few Zealots there, and DTs warping in to join, so another couple of Archons. So 7 minutes, we've got 4 Archons, 2 Immortals, 4 very high energy sentries. And well, what does sOo have? 62 drones, feels like maybe a bit too much, but I guess we're about to find out. Lings, Roaches, and Ravagers, the defensive units here. Struggling with the Force Fields on the left side. Ravagers aren't in position to cross a Vile in that direction. Going to see 2 more sentries warped in here, so some extra Force Fields being brought into play. On the plus side, I mean, these units aren't making much progress up ramps or anything, and there doesn't be much micro either. From 4 Archons, we're down to 0. And there's just a couple of Immortals that are left. In fact, the Warp Prism micro almost non-existent altogether. Zealots on the right side, definitely pushing back a few units. Threatening to go into that mineral line, but will not commit just yet. Roaches continue to pop out. Extra Queens coming in. Prism still standing strong in the background. As the Roaches holding on to transfuse on 1 or 2 of them here just to get the heals up. Most of the lower health Roaches to Ravagers so they get healed as well. Doing pretty good at the moment as we're going to be seeing the Zealots charging in. That's nice force fields on this left-hand side. And again, that stops a lot of the reinforcements coming over. Drones have to kind of pull the help out, and sOo's lost a lot, about 15 workers so far. He started above 60, and now he's down to 46. Over the course of battles on the Prism, gets the kill, which means that the reinforcements will stop coming in. And with no more reinforcements, there's also no micro to be able to pick up those Immortals and to get them out of, get them back home or anything. As Roaches and Ravagers continue to fight on the bottom side. This Immortal up here is going to go down as well. Great job by by sOo to clean this up. I mean, killing the Prism absolutely essential, I think, in all of this. In the end, sOs has brought sOo down by 5 workers, but sOo can rebuild those pretty quickly, and I think the big thing is the army supply difference. There is barely anything on the map now from the Protoss player. Has only 1 Immortal, has no High Templar. It's so difficult to replace all of those tech units because it's so gas intensive. +1 missiles and group spines coming in from sOo as he takes the 4th base over to the left-hand side as well. Prism just hanging out on the right. A few more Hydras morphing in as well. TT runs into the natural expansion to get a few drone kills also. So a few drones go down. Overseer comes into the natural, and that DT chased away and picked off. Prism on the left side will try and keep up this harassment, maybe send 1 DT here while trying to get one in towards the main. This is what sOs needs to do. Buy time to stop sOo from attacking and try and deal some damage to bring himself back into the game a little bit as well. sOo very good with the contaminates, throws down 1 onto the robo facility at this point in time to slow that production and really stop sOs from being able to just keep massing up those tech-based units that are going to be so good against this. First, I'm hanging out over the left side. Couple Hydras heading over. DT is still looking around, and the Queen, taking a couple of shots of damage, will actually fall. So Queen goes down. And again, the Prism just hanging out on the left side. Roaches, Ravagers, and Hydras setting up for the attack, obviously. I mean, sOo is just sitting at 52 drones, so he is not going to be macroing at all. This is a commitment, this is an attack, and he is going to absolutely go for this here. And as I see a couple more Zards warping in. So see the Zards start to charge forward, a couple of Crows of Battles dropping down, and we are going to be seeing the few extra Zards warping in again. Storm dropping. A lot of Storms dropping actually as the Roaches and Ravagers and Hydras have kind of avoided all of the storm damage, which means that there's only a few Immortals to really deal damage now. High Templar's trying to morph into an Archon, but I think there's just too much, especially with the Hydras. The damage output is a little too high. Corrosive Bars actually connected on a morph in Archon as well, which is guaranteed damage because it can't dodge away. It can't be lifted up. And those Immortals now chase back as well. One of them goes down as it dropped back out. But it looks like sOo has too much, and this 3rd base will be falling. sOo looking to tie this up 1-to-1, force this into a game 3. Couple of Immortals dropping down the right side as Zealots continue to warp in as well. That Immortal is still just trying to hang on as this is all dropping off. There's the GG. sOo ties it up 1-to-1 with sOs. What can I say? I think the audio sounds pretty good overall. It does the job, I think. I think it's just like little nuisancey things that you don't... Like, if you know to listen out for them. I think it's like, if I'm quiet, you can hear it, and if you know to listen out, you can probably hear it too, but for the vast majority, it does the job. So that's why I sort of get by without too many people flaming me. Rifkin was talking mad trash about me. I mean, he has to, man. If Rifkin isn't talking mad trash about me, how's he going to get any viewers? Top left-hand side, the blue Protoss player is sOs. His attack not working out in that last game, and then got killed by the counter 52 drone all-in of sOo, the red Zerg, in the bottom right-hand side. Yeah, sOs 2 games in a row now has just set up into very aggressive attacks that are aiming to hit around that like 7-ish, 8-ish minute marker. Obviously, both games sOo has actually more or less decided it with a fairly low drone count attack as well. In the first game, he tried to be aggressive with like Ravager Ling, but when it didn't work out, sOs took a large lead, and in the end, he won from there. In that second game, at least sOo initially went up to 60 drones, but then afterwards, after the attack, he made the right decision, I think. You cut drones after winning a fight like that, and you just go for a big attack, move across. Cerulean Fall as well. It's a pretty quick map to move across, and it's got a pretty open 3rd base as well, so it's a pretty nice location to attack into. So not just was the setup pretty good from the Zerg player, the map was pretty good for it too. So I like the decision there by sOo. And hey, worked out, tying this up 1-1. Is this a replay? Yes, replays from the IEM Katowice server qualifiers. They took place maybe a week, 2 weeks ago. I can't remember now, but yeah, they took place a little while ago. We've just been casting them to fill some time in the wonderful world of StarCraft because I don't have anything else to cast tonight, and there's so many of these to cast as well. Like, there's so many matches that I just didn't stream. So as far as I'm concerned, the casts that I can put out, and it fills some otherwise downtime days on the stream, so it's kind of nice. That's pretty sweet. Just as we have that again, Sentry first opening from sOs. Just want to mention, guys, if you are a subscriber, tomorrow is sub night on the stream. We're going to be doing some subscriber replay casting. We'll play some subscriber games, customs, and arcades / free-for-alls, and probably some marbles as well. So come check that out tomorrow evening if you want to take part. And if you want to get your replay for, set up for casting, you can check out there's a channel on Discord where you can go and click in and drop your replay to get it submitted to cast. Robot facility and a Twilight Council setup here from sOs. Going to be seeing that Twilight finishing. It's back to the kind of the Dark Shrine Archon drop opening. I think this Overlord sneaking around the back, sees it. What a place for the Overlord to be. Sees that tech and stays out the way of any sort of Stalker pressure as well. That's very nicely done, as the hallucination didn't find that Overlord and is just heading across the map to get some information for the Protoss as to maybe what is the Zerg up to. Am I cast on YouTube, asks Moonsource? Yes. I upload... Right now we're uploading 6 series a day on YouTube. Because I actually just literally have way too many series, so either we don't put them on, or we just over-upload. So we're over-uploading at the moment. Usually they go on pretty quickly. It depends what tournament it is and how busy it is. Like, we have a bit of a delay because of the fact that matches take a little while to... just because like I try and only upload a certain amount per day. So sometimes it takes a little while, but do check it out, youtube.com/WardiTV. I've actually been doing a lot to push the YouTube lately. Including that in the next couple of days, we're going to start doing YouTube exclusive casts. So there's going to be certain games and certain series that you will only find on my YouTube channel. So if that applies to everyone, go check it out, youtube.com/WardiTV. Cool place to watch, catch up on games you missed and stuff like that. If you've been looking for some games, I highly advise watching Scarlet vs. Tasia, awesome series. Classic vs. TY went up yesterday, also an awesome series. I'd catch those couple of matches, honestly, if you're looking for something on the YouTube, as my personal recommendation. Anyways, let's talk about this game. A hallucinated warp prism is interesting. I'm intrigued as to if this really kind of serves use as a bit of a mind game. This is actually highly aggressive. Only 4 gates, but he actually warped in a bunch of zealots before he actually gets the Dark Shrine up. So, well, Roach is coming in here. The zealots have charge. Apologies, this is really me being caught a little bit off guard, talking about other things while I just assumed it was going to be DTs pretty quickly. So, with 8 zealots here, this is definitely catching sOo off guard as well. He loses a queen and a roach so far. Kind of way we'll get a few of those zealots now, as the hallucinated prism in the main doesn't really pull anything out of position. That's going to fade away in a moment. The next real prism, though, warps in 4 DTs that'll head towards the 3rd base. Now, the lair is up, but there's one Overseer, and if that Overseer is out of position, then these DTs can get so much damage done. They're going to go straight in for a bunch of workers. Instantly 4 drones dead, make that 8 as they get a second set of swipes off. Now, obviously, you're trying to deal with the fact there's a prism towards the main base, too. As the Overseer finally makes its way over, that 3rd hatch is super low. sOs probably going to commit for it, and he'll probably get it. And he saves all 4 DTs. Nice pick off here by sOs. soO not in position when he needed to be, and that is a huge loss from him. That is something you just cannot really afford to have happen. That is really, 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 really rough from him. Losing the 3rd hatchery. Losing the workers was already bad enough. Losing the 3rd hatch, even worse. Now those DTs morph into Archons. The Roaches don't even get the sort of the merciful, hey, at least I killed an Archon sort of setup. No. Unfortunately, the Archons are alive and well, moving towards the natural, and the Zealots in the main dropping back down. Try and snipe this Queen with the micro. Loses 1 Zealot, but he gets the Queen. Losing Queens is obviously frustrating because they can't build up energy, they can't inject. Man, soo's getting himself into a really rough spot here. Now, we do see a Spire coming down on the back of the natural, so it's just over halfway done. And there's a couple of drones continue to run over towards that third base now. A few drones jumping in towards the extractor, getting some gas mining. So we see the Prism is going to pull back in towards the central a little bit, waiting for the next set of units to come along. I mean, he's going to be attacking in just as the Spire finishes. I mean, what a time, because it's either going to force units that aren't Mutalisks, or it's going to catch you making Mutalisks, which is bad for you anyways, right? So either way, it's a bit of a win. Great time to attack as sOs is going to try and get this third hatchery once again. sOo comes down the ramp, and then he runs away right away. Only one force field needed to scare this off, and well, sOo's going to be set back to 2 bases once again, attempting sOs to drop into the natural, but all the units are here, and as long as he keeps the Berserk play on 2 bases, he's looking great. He hasn't saturated his own third base yet, but I'm sure that's going to be one of the next things on his mind, as he throws down double Stargate as well. I think just because he saw the Spire, he figured, you know what, there's one thing that can kill me in this game. Like, if meters do come out, it's one thing that could definitely bring sOo back into it if he harasses well, pulls me around a lot, catches me out of position. So if I just throw down the double Stargate to be like overly safe, it's just going to do well for me, I think. And I think it's completely true. Like, you throw down double Stargate, at this point you're so far ahead, having killed the third base, it's completely worthwhile, because now you can make those Phoenix when you need them. sOs maybe getting a bit too aggressive there, walking into some corrosive battles, a bit too eager to attack in when he wasn't really needing to. Mutalisks heading up the right-hand side. Zealots, Immortals, and Archons will also gather down on the bottom. A couple of Spine Crawlers starting up on the natural expansion. Plus one missile attack upgrade on the way in. And again, those Mutalisks about to arrive in the main base here to try and pick up a few of these probes. So, and there's the few meters. It's only 5 meters. It's not a lot. There's a very low commitment that can hopefully get some damage done. But with 2 Phoenix already out, well, there you go. I mean, this Phoenix is just going to absolutely shut this down. And of course, yes, the Phoenix now are not going to have much use after this, but they can still go and lift up some workers and so on. And, well, these 5 meters just did not pay for themselves. Again, maybe you force the Phoenix, but even the Phoenix is just going to come across, pick off drones, and, well, sOo's lucky to be alive, I feel. I guess he's alive because he's been sitting on 2 bases, massing units, so it just takes a little while for the economy of sOs to actually kick in, and for the lack of a third base to really kick in a little bit as well, and for sOo to really kind of just end up in a tough spot. I mean, masses of roaches are very good, but, as sOs gets more Immortals and Archons up, it gets a lot better for sOs, because, I believe a massive Immortals and Archons are kind of the counter to roaches. So the more of those he gets, the easier this fight becomes. There is a few Hydras being mixed in now from sOo as well, so, I mean, it's the same thing though. As long as the Hydra count isn't super huge and you need Storm for it, more Immortals, more Archons will generally get the job done. Just pulling back up through the center. A few Phoenix still attacking over the right-hand side. Phoenix overhead. Gonna get that Overlord pretty low pretty quickly. Flying out through the main base. A couple of Overlords there from sOo, taking some damage as well. Another Phoenix going to join up on the bottom side. And we have got the Overlord set up to the top. Roaches and Ravagers moving around as well. A little bit of ups and downs. Phoenix getting another Overlord again. Like, yeah, I don't think he is too afraid of having to make Phoenix. They've worked wonders so far, picking off multiple Overlords. Now they're going to get some drones. Move away from the Hydras, and it's even pulling a lot of the Hydras out of position, so maybe this army could attack into the Roach Ravager force in the meanwhile. And sOs still being fairly passive. I will say, sOs stayed on 45 workers for a lot longer than I thought he would. Only just recently out on the extra 10 or so to go up to 56 now. You see the Phoenix pushing in, getting another Overseer. I mean, there's more damage that sOo has to deal with, but sOo is going to max out. I mean, all it takes is one bad fight from sOs, a couple missed force fields, and all of a sudden, maybe sOo can make something happen with this. But how on earth are you going to miss those force fields as this army comes wandering up the ramp? It's a bunch of roaches that are just going to get caught there. Corrosive Battles come down, the roaches decide to try and retreat. 2 more of them getting caught with 2 more force fields. I mean, sOo already loses, what, like 20 supply of roaches there? It's a lot of roaches that go down very quickly. It's a lot of roaches that go down very quickly. In the main base, Zealots are going to be swiping away at this Spore Crawler as well. So that's going to be going down. Another couple of Zealots charging in towards those couple of roaches on the right side. Another Zealot jumping on the Queen. And the Roach Ravager force of sOo coming up to the top with a 4th hatchery about to complete. Again, these Phoenix coming down to the bottom side, and we have to the top. And these are the roaches, the ravages just still looping around. I like it. I mean, I love the way that sOo stayed alive in a game that he should have been so dead in. I mean, I still think he's so dead, but I mean, yeah, I mean, the decisions he's made, like choosing to make just so much army, it stopped sOs from attacking in, and okay, sure, while he's not maybe done a lot, it does mean that if sOs had overcommitted and been like, you know what, let's end this game, it would have maybe given sOo the chance to get back into the game, because then sOs attacks into way too many units, and all of a sudden he's in a lot of trouble, right? So I feel like sOo's done a good job, because the fact he's not died yet means that sOs has been afraid. And I think sometimes that's the best you can hope for as well. The first couple of storms there are pretty deadly. Nicely done. Picks off Ravager, Hydra, and a little more on top of it. There's obviously a spam out a bunch of changelings as well. As we do have Zods from sOs running over to the right-hand side. And they are going to go charging into that hatchery as well. So charging into the hatch. Phoenix over here lifting up a few more Hydras. And a bunch more damage done. Zods still swiping away, picking off those Zerglings. One Queen goes down as well. We're just going to be seeing the Phoenix coming over and picking off another Overlord. I just continue to deal some damage to the Phoenix here. And those Phoenix continue to take a bunch of shots, man. So much damage dealt. As, well, at least finally he's cleaned up a little bit of something. So sOs losing some units, but they are the units that are not really going to matter all that much in the end as Immortals. Just dealing with some Zerglings that run in. We see Roaches, Ravagers, and Hydras coming in from all sorts of angles. Storms coming down in a couple of positions. Units taking some damage. Ling's taking some shots as well. The Immortals' damage is good to, again, push back a bunch of these units. A few more Corrosive Bowels coming down. Now we see units coming in from the top side as well here from sOo, looking to wrap around this army. I can't believe sOo is making such a game out of this. Like, there's still so many Immortals left, don't get me wrong. sOs has got this fight done and dusted, no problem, but, like, you know, for a moment or so, it was kind of believable. Like, yes, sOs has a ton left over, but, like, there was a moment where it's like, you know,